Well, hello everybody and welcome back out. It's a bit of a windier day today, so I really hope the mic is doing its job with that little wind cover, and I will try to cover it up from the wind as best I can today. So after that brief little video of the blessing of the straw bales, what a wonderful pile that was to receive. I have come to the conclusion that I'm going to do basically two different things with these, both long-term, kind of help the survivability of, well, us here on the property. The first is, of course, I'm going to use them to improve the yard and the gardens and such, and up the quality of our gardening game, and maybe even improve some of our perennials that we've got going on. And the second, I think, is I'm going to, well, build myself a new archery backstop, because why the heck not? There are plenty of bales there, and it was kind of suggested that this event from yesterday might be repeated next year and the year to come and the year to come, because they're going to continue using these bales to make, well, ice rinks over the winter time, and the family still has land out there where they're producing these bales all the time. So if I wanted to just straight up pay for some in the fall, I could probably do that too. But this is not working out to be the best shot. I do apologize for that. The sun's kind of changed on me a little bit. Let's get looking around to what I'm going to do with this and kind of what I've got to deal with. A lot of these bales are in fact intact, fairly easy to move, and I could do a lot of different things with them. If you've been watching all my other videos, you know that to garden with them, I am going to explode them, because one of these nice tight clean bales turns into quite a pile of just like assorted straw, and I've got a few of those piles to deal with. So we're over here in front of the chicken coop, and of course the wind has picked up again, and you can see I've got one bale sitting right here. I thought, you know, maybe I would need more than I actually used, because, you know, it doesn't look like a whole lot there. But when I spread out the other bale that I brought over here, it actually produced a pretty decent sized bit of raised bed gardening area for me. So I'm probably going to fill that with a whole bag of peas. Supposedly plants like a 30-foot row, but I'm just going to tuck it all in there, maybe 2 rows, maybe 3, we'll see. And I've got a bunch of Swiss chard seeds that I saved from back in 2013. I have no idea if they'll even sprout, no idea if they'll grow in straw, but this year we're going to find out. But yeah, this is what, you know, kind of inspires me to say you should always expand your straw bales. Look how much more room roots are going to have to grow in there as compared to all these people who say, yeah, no, just leave it as a nice tight compact bale, it'll be fine. You got to condition it for a while first and help it break down, but oh, it'll be fine, they say. No way. Cut 2 little strings, spend maybe 5-10 minutes spreading it out, shaking it out so it's all chaotic. I mean, you'll see this is not neat little rows of straw anymore. This is twisted and turned back in and of itself, and we've had a lot of crazy wind since this was all put out. Hasn't really blown away. So yeah, it's worth it. Just take the time, cut the strings, spread the bale. But while they're still nice and sturdy like this, and that's pretty solid. I mean, would you want to be roots growing in that? Of course people think you can't grow potatoes and root crops in there. What a nightmare, what a nightmare. But great for catching arrows. So yeah, I think we're just going to put 6, maybe 8 of those behind the chicken shed. Back here behind the chickens, we have what we call our little shooting shed, right? There's a couple of straw bales in there. Those particular bales have been chewed on by squirrels and all kinds of questionable things. But in addition to that, they've also caught a lot of lead pellets and steel and copper BBs. So I'm not going to be using those in the garden anytime soon, if ever. If you look carefully, you can see like there's an oyster thing or sardines or something. But anyway, so that maybe 15 yards I can shoot towards that, and it does work fine to catch the arrows. A good solid shot goes through the very nasty, slightly decomposed state of that bale. Like I said, the squirrels have had their wicked way with it. And it's pretty easy to get a good powerful shot at a whopping 15 yards or whatever with a 45-pound recurve. So I'm thinking if I put a nice stack of bales here in the back of the long shed, I've got some 100 feet to our fence line there. So that gives me lots of room to practice staggering my distances, improve my accuracy over distance, and yeah, that's a lot more useful in the case of I need to gather food from the wild. You know, odds are I'm not going to be sitting right on top of it. Odds are I'm going to be lucky to be even as close as the fence is there. So upping my skill there, upping my game, sounds like a good way to use some of this straw. And as long as I'm only using it to catch arrows, I'm not even going to use the crossbow for this, just arrows, it's going to slowly break down, sure, but I'll be able to use it in the garden when it's time to build a new one, because it won't have all those little lead pellets and stuff in it. So I think that's going to be great, and kind of looking forward to doing some long-range archery and some long-range archery videos for the outdoor channel, which, you know, as things warm up, much more likely to get content again. So yeah. As for the rest of this straw that we'll say is free to be fluffy, I'm kind of leaning towards doing column-like rows forward from where the stumps kind of lead off there, and just using them to make raised bed gardens moving forward. I've got plenty of it available. Some solid ones underneath there still. Some of these are still partially frozen, but I have no idea what I'm going to plant in them. Lots of peas and beans, obviously, legumes, good for getting nitrogen from the soil. But other than that, I'm not quite sure. Clearly going to have to try some tomatoes. I counted 57 tomato cups upstairs underneath the lights. This area here I want to till into 2 nice large garden beds, but content for another day. Actually, on that note, I should probably wrap this up. Getting a little long-winded, but I thought I'd share with you my early thoughts on what I'm going to do with all this straw, and shoot for a little feedback from you guys. See if you got any suggestions on things that would do well. I know, Punky, you have some experience growing in straw, so I'd love to hear your suggestions for something I could plant like now and actually get some use out of it this year. So yeah, much love everybody. Happy gardening, and I will see you next time around.